Howdy, Coach.
How we doing?
Good. How are you? So it's tough. You lose Moss early, and you've kind of game plan knowing that you're going to have Marcel, and so tell me about the thought process. Do you have certain plays that you really like with Moss in, and now you're having to kind of switch what you do? Tell me how that goes.
Well, I think there's definitely certain things we have specifically designed for certain guys that maybe a change and adjust on the fly. Have great faith in Amari and EJ and those guys being able to step in and do a lot of the same things as well. I thought, credit South Carolina, I thought they did some really, really nice things taking away our edges and defending the edge in some things that directed where the ball was going to go at times. But yes and no, to answer your question.
We'll go second row on the right side to Olin and then Travis.
I was going to also ask about input. So is it the reaction to it is as simple as bringing in Amari? And I also wanted to ask how much of or is it a significant loss in terms of pass protection with the running back situation?
Yeah, I think, again, I think it'll be a shared effort through the room. I think there's different ways that we can spread the ball and get it into different people's hands to help take that load, because not taking anything away from Lev and what he's been able to do for our offense and the player that he is, but I have great faith in the guys around him and in the room to step up and make those plays. And I think that's been a testament to our unit all year, is guys being able to step up when their number is called. Yep.
We'll go front row on the right side to Travis and then Brent.
Curious to kind of your analysis over the last couple of weeks of both the quarterbacks, and is this Marcel's job moving forward?
I think, again, the messaging to them and to the whole unit is it's all of us in this thing together. It's one day at a time, and I thought overall, I thought Marcel did a really, really nice job through the ball game competing. I thought he extended some plays and made some really, really good plays in the passing game for us. So again, it's just kind of one day at a time. Yeah.
And with the running style that Amari and EJ have, does that affect at all the kind of read option game that you can run with Marcel, or does the way the back runs not necessarily matter in that situation?
I think it's a little more about how they're playing us defensively, to be honest with you, where that ball's going to go, what technique that D end or edge player is playing with. I think those things are more probably dictating where the ball's going to go on some of those read plays than who is carrying it, if that makes sense.
And then finally on fourth downs, with the way that you call going for on a fourth down, how much do you lean on more kind of analytics, your gut? Kind of what's the process of making a fourth down play call?
Yeah, no, good question. I think obviously the final call comes from coach, as far as what the time, score, how far is it, as I think like he said, sometimes there's a difference between 4th and a half, 4th and a yard. Sometimes it's like a long one. Sometimes it's 1.5, that really can change what you do and how you move forward. It's kind of a collaborative effort between me and him as far as, and we go through thoroughly kind of the plan based on where that length and how exactly far it is, kind of what we're thinking in those scenarios, and obviously just didn't get it done in a couple critical situations.
We'll stay on that front row to Brent and then Alex.
Colin, how different is the approach when you say, Marcel is starting on a Monday, the week of practice preparation between Marcel and Connor in terms of the approach?
Yeah, I mean, there is. I think it's how we as a staff kind of piece it together based on the pictures that we're seeing from the defense and what we're trying to exploit. There is some overlap. Obviously, a lot of things that both of them are able to do are similar, and then both of them have unique strengths. And so I think it definitely helps. But at the same time, and this goes even the last couple years, whenever you're in a situation where you have two contrasting styles of player, hey, one can get hurt regardless of who starts. If you have a player go down, you always got to be able to adapt that on the fly. In potentially the third play of the game that happened to me a couple of years ago, that as a play caller or coordinator, you're kind of always trying to play the what-if game throughout the week. So it's not just, hey, this whole game plan is built this way, this one's built the other way. It's like it's got to be kind of a holistic approach, top to bottom.
And is receiver a priority? I mean, I guess it's always a priority, but is it a priority in the in the high school ranks, obviously, but maybe particularly in the transfer portal moving forward for y'all?
You know, I don't. That's a question probably for down the road. I think right now, again, I thought, you know, there were some things. There's always things that can be positive and negative through a ball game, and obviously, even though we didn't play and do the things that we need and want to be able to do, I thought there were some bright spots too in the passing game last week, and guys stepping up and making plays and. Made some tough catches and some really, really nice throws. So, again, it's just something we got to build off of and keep getting better because, again, I believe in all those guys.
We'll go second row on the left side to Alex and then Tony.
Yeah, you mentioned the bright spots in the passing game, and you know last week Coach Elko mentioned a need for kind of synchronizing the offense on multiple levels,
Yeah.
quarterback, O-line, receivers, yada yada. Did you feel like that they were more in sync last week against South Carolina, and just what do you need to see from your passing game to take some steps forward down this home stretch?
Yeah, I think we were definitely more efficient at times. You know, I thought there was some good mid-range game that we were able to get some catch and run opportunities for the guys that was better. I thought Jabri really did a nice job in the slot, which was good. You know, I think we missed or were close and getting closer to being able to get a couple more explosive plays down the field. Obviously, we want to continue, and we'll have to do that and to create some bigger plays and help ourselves. But again, it's never just one thing. You know, it's all every level of the offense coming together and allowing those plays to be made.
We'll go third row on the left side to Tony.
Obviously, Marcel has seen, things that over the course of the game, there's adversities you have to overcome, but this was his first loss of the year. Can you kind of touch on his mentality after the game, maybe how he felt and how he responded to this?
Well, I think the kid's a competitor. You know, I think all those guys in that locker room are, and I think the process-based approach from Coach, through the ups and the downs that we've been through and we'll continue to go through, will win the day and have great faith in him and the rest of our guys that, hey there's no magic potion to it. There's no magic formula. It's day in and day out work and getting better at those little things that make the difference.
We'll go second row on the right side to Carter and then Cease.
Colin, how did Connor handle things and just what's kind of the key for him to get back on track when he maybe does get his opportunity? Yeah,
I think he's been an exemplary teammate. I think both those guys are in it for the right reasons. They're in it for each other in this football team, our offense, and again, what both have been there for each other through the ups and downs of this thing. So proud of them.
As far as Amari Daniels goes, can he be a lead back kind of player, and just what strengths do you see him giving this offense in that kind of a role?
You know, absolutely. I mean, he's got explosive ability. Obviously, had a huge touchdown run for us and an explosive play on a short yardage situation, and had a good catch on an arrow route in the flat. So no, he's an all-around back. Does great in pass pro, and again, I have all the faith in the world in him.
We'll go front row on the left side to Cease and then back to TV row.
So from where you started, Colin, you were really down 2 offensive linemen. From the start of the season, you used 2 quarterbacks, and now you're down a running back. My question is your offensive identity right now where you thought it would be coming out of August? Because maybe an outside looking in, I thought maybe you use more tight ends or whatever, but your identity, if I could ask, what do you think about?
Yeah, I think we're still a work in process. I think we're growing. I think, again, like I said earlier, credit all of those guys for having that next man up mentality and being able to step up. And, I think we've been able to, over the course of the year, establish the line of scrimmage and be able to run the football and kind of build off of that. So from that identity piece, we've done it different ways, different personnels, lots of different presentations and things. But I'd say that would probably be the staple of what we've been able to be. But again, there's a lot of different aspects to that. Sometimes just because using the tight ends for an example, maybe don't catch a ton of balls, that doesn't mean they're impact on the run game, for example, and that as part of that identity isn't huge for us. And so, just proud of all the components as they've come together and contributed in that next man up mentality.
We'll go back behind the lights on the right side to Ben and then Parker.
Coach back here.
Oh, there you go.
No, you're good. When you're facing a team with a good pass rush, especially with Marcel in there, I know there are ways with designed rollouts and stuff you can maybe mitigate that a little bit, but especially with Marcel, how much he's doing in the run game and all that. I know he probably can't do that the whole game. How do you kind of pick your spots as to how often to do it, when you pick your spots as to when to do just normal drop back and, thinking our offensive line is going to hold up on this play? How do you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a balance, and then it all depends on kind of how and what style of defense and how their fits are and how they do it. I mean, we wanted to get into some more naked games, some more edge game. I think we ran 2 of them, and both of them were tough situations on my part because of how their ends were playing, popping out to that 9 and giving us a really, really hard edge out there. So that plays a big part of it schematically, is sometimes what they're letting you do and what they're not letting you do. But definitely want to use his athleticism and in a lot of ways, sometimes he was able to create some of those extended plays, movement passes by starting a scramble or a flush off of a drop back pass, and for the most part made really, really good decisions back there. So being able to just spread the field and open it up for him to be able to then kind of fall into some of those opportunities just by him being him too.
We'll go to the middle of TV row to Parker and then Tyler.
Coach, kind of talking about the past 2 games, it's almost been a tale of 2 halves. How do you establish a little bit more consistency, do you think, and just kind of, I guess, mitigate those problems early on to not let it get out of hand?
Yeah, I think they've been different issues in different games at different times. I think obviously the biggest one in this game was just our inability to stay on the field, and that was in the first half as well when we were able to manage and create some of those third down conversions to give ourselves more chances. We were able to get that consistency going and had some decent early down plays and then just weren't able to, again, keep ourselves on the field.
We'll go to the left side of TV row to Tyler.
Colin was going to kind of ask about the differences between those 2 halves, but what kind of lessons do you take out of this heading into a bye week? Do you guys focus on?
I think a lot of the messaging stays the same, but again, just trying to really focus and lock into those little things and how we plan, how we prepare, and then not finish the deal and execute. But I have great faith in our guys and how they're going to respond and really get after it this week.
We'll go 4th row on the left side to Luke and then wrap things up with Travis.
You kind of touched on it, but how do you attack this bye week, and how does that approach maybe differ from the first of a season coming off of that Missouri win?
Yeah, no, I think I think big picture we just got to keep the pedal down, and keep grinding away on those fundamental things. I think obviously we'll do a little bit of good on good. We'll get probably some older guys that with some heavier snap counts in the game, some rest earlier in the week, and then try to ramp them up a little bit more towards the end of the week. But again, it's constant improvement, getting better, and making sure we correct the mistakes that we need to get corrected and keep pushing forward and growing in the areas that we are too.
We'll go front row on the right side to Travis.
You mentioned Jabri Barber. I know he has had a steady rise from the injury. What have you seen from him this season, and what has it been in the last couple of games that has enabled him to kind of really showcase himself?
I just think he's done a really nice job of working really, really hard in practice and made some tough man-to-man contested catches for us, and has done well with it after the catch. And I think his just consistency has been really, really big. And not that it was never there, but I think just getting healthy, getting in the flow of things, and then obviously just putting in the work that he does during the week. I mean, that kid, we got to tell to slow down and walk through, for example. I mean, that's just how he's always chomping at the bit. So proud of him.
And then you, as a player, went through a championship run to be late in the season. Is there any kinds of experience that you draw from, you relate to the players as in the position that they're in at this point in the season as well from your past experiences?
Yeah, and I think just and we talked a little bit about it last week and got to continue to reiterate it. It's just, the further you go along the path and the higher you go up the mountain on your journey, the more your eyes got to just stay down. And truly it is a day-to-day, week-to-week mentality that, hey, you know what, all that stuff is going to take care of itself if we truly walk the walk of one day at a time. And it's cliche, it's coach speak, but it's real. And the guys and the teams that I've been fortunate to be a part of that have truly done that, it's worked.